Hi, my name is Frances McDonald, and I was thrilled and very proud to receive a Create Here grant for professional development last year, and with that money I decided to educate myself better on the ins and outs of creating community art-based projects. Community-based art projects. Community-based public art projects. We're going to stack this up until we get it right. So to that end, I invited Ed and Bernie Massey here from San Francisco, and they are probably the biggest people in the business. They work with thousands of kids to make a certain figuration, which you can see on taxis and airplanes and buses and everything that moves they have done. Right now they're negotiating with NASA to put a satellite in outer space. And I said, please let Chattanooga work on this project. We'd really like to work with them. But that said, they put together these huge projects, and we're like the little engine that could. We've been doing this for a couple of years. My organization is called Markmaking, www.markmaking.org. And we do smaller projects. We involve different population groups, and we do very site-specific work. And each project is very, very different supplies, different everything, because it's site-specific and population-specific.
We've been here 36 hours now. We've both identified at least 30 walls that could end up being used for beautification. That would also be visible from a variety of different locations within the city.
Also, we get invited to cities to look and scout out different buildings, and one thing unique to Chattanooga that we've seen so far is that there's very little competition between the commercial ad space and the actual buildings, and that becomes an integral part of how we would perceive a potential project. Is there competition with commercial space?
We have a whole lot of surface area in Chattanooga from what we've seen, so all of your creative juices should be spinning because you have a whole lot to work with.
We're grateful to be here in Chattanooga, and as Bernie mentioned, and I think I'll say it again, that when we're invited to cities, whether it's abroad or here in the United States, we're often taken on tours to see the different environments, and I'm in total agreement with what Bernie just said. You do have an amazing assortment of potential buildings here to add color to. I don't have to tell you that. I think Frances is the right type of person with some of the other folks that we've met in the last day to really kind of ignite the energies of the art groups and also the general public to get and rally perhaps thousands, if not tens of thousands of youth and adults in projects. When we were in New York, we had a wonderful space in the middle of Manhattan, 18,000 square foot studios at a hotel lobby where we would just invite the general public in day to day. So people would come in after the sessions with the students. People would come in between Madison Square Garden or going into the trains, which was only a block away from our space, and they would kick their shoes off, throw their briefcases aside, their purses aside, and jump onto panels and start working collaboratively. Folks who've never met each other. It's just a wonderful socialization process. It's hands-on. It's the types of projects that we love to get involved in, of course, and I think it's potentially could be amazing here.
One thing I want to tell you is all these projects are meticulously thought out. So there are many different interests that are involved from the political level, the regulatory agencies, the private sector. Our projects tend to be funded through corporations, foundations, and individual philanthropists. Only on extremely rare occasions do we ever accept any tax dollars.
Okay, what is a charrette? We did a charrette with the Masses. What is that anyway? A charrette is a particular flavor of brainstorming session that can involve 10 people, it can involve 300 people, and it's very near and dear to Chattanooga. We've done this since the 70s to make this city really what it is today. It's a very democratic method. So you put questions out, you brainstorm in little groups, and then everybody has a moment to write their things, to write down their ideas, and then you put all the ideas on a big piece of paper, and then you vote for, and then everybody at the table votes for the ones they like, then all the tables make presentations, then everybody pulls some conclusions from that. So we did one of these, and we started with Ed and Bernie showing us this incredible video. I mean, they're talking we have newscasters from Japan and from all over the world talking about how great the Masseys are, which of course by the time you see that, you're highly impressed. So you're ready to absorb anything they say. So they talk a little bit about what they do and how they work in different cities and what that means to the different cities and what that means on a national level too. So informed from that information, we looked at, well, okay, well, what would it look like in Chattanooga if we had more community-based public art? What would that look like? What would be the model that it takes? Why would we do it? And while we're at it, would we ever want the Masseys to come here? And in that context, I think I asked Peggy Townsend from Public Art Chattanooga to say a little bit about what they do, which isn't so much community-based public art, but if you're putting art in public in Chattanooga, you need to keep them in mind because they have jurisdiction over everything that's public property. So she had a few words to say about what they do, and then I had a few words to say what Mark Making does, because those are really the two entities that are even interested in this question. And then we opened it up. Oh, and we also had some slides of some people here and there who are making small community-based public art projects. So we opened it up, everybody powwowed. Then Pam Glazer was very thoughtful, and she facilitated, and we scribed all the results. She got everybody to talk and got the answers all put together, and we scribed the results. And they were very interesting, and they're available online at www.markmaking.org, and we will also post them on Facebook.
What I'd love to see is when we go into some of these planning processes, that we have a statement that's been created by the community about how they feel about public art, and specifically one that was inspired by our workshop this weekend. Now, as we look at, first of all, we said to identify partnerships, and my goodness, do we have some groups out here. Forgot about old Amazon.com here in Austin, the corporations, Girls Club, Boys Club. We've got our AVA, AIA, the Hunter Museum, the TV media, and our TV stations and so forth as partners. Fraternal lodges. There you go, you got Masons and so forth. Create Here, Scouts, Orange Grove, excellent opportunity. Trying not to repeat any churches, the After School, YMCA, Blue Cross Blue Shield, another big entity here in town. Looks like again, our corporations always come to the front. If we can start to measure the economic dollar and value and what public art brings and so forth, those are the types of things that are going to be coming together. So I think, like I said, we're in a real good time to start giving input. If you could pick your top three where you would start to focus our energies and direction and initiatives to, what three would you pick? So that's what you're going to be voting on.
It was a very encouraging and positive experience. I would like to see more of this happening to encourage more citizenry to participate in the beautification of our community.
Well, I think it's just exciting and inspiring and encouraging for the Massey brothers to be here and to hear from them, and to see that Chattanooga already has things going on, and to see ideas to have more things happening. So I think it's encouraging.
I thought tonight was good just to meet some folks in the community, kind of the art folks, work together on something, kind of do some visioning about public art and the future of public art in Chattanooga, and work together on something collaboratively.